What if the most powerful thing in your life isn't what happens to you, but how you choose to respond to it? What if pain could become your teacher, and chaos your compass? In this cinematic visual story, told through powerful imagery and reflective narration, we follow a man on the brink of collapse, who chooses not to fight the world, but to master himself. This is the Stoic choice. A journey through storm, silence, and strength. The storm didn't ask for permission. It arrived like life always does, without warning. One day he was making plans. The next, life made its own. A lost job. A broken heart. A phone call from the hospital that changed everything. He stood frozen, not because he was weak, but because he didn't know what came next. The wind screamed louder than his thoughts. But in that chaos, a question surfaced. Not, why me? But, what now? That one question, what now? Became the beginning. Because pain isn't a wall. It's a doorway. And the Stoics knew, we don't control the storm. But we always control the sailor. In the days that followed, the world didn't get quieter. The phone still rang with bills he couldn't pay. The news still echoed fear. And the memories still stung like fresh wounds. But inside, something had begun to shift. He didn't run to distractions. No alcohol. No endless scrolling. Just silence. It was uncomfortable at first. To sit with pain. To look it in the face and not turn away. But slowly, he found that silence wasn't empty. It was full of answers. Answers whispered, not shouted. One morning, he picked up a pen. Not to write what happened, but what he felt. His fears. His guilt. His confusion. All poured out onto paper like water bursting through a dam. Then he found an old quote, scrawled in the margins of a forgotten notebook. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. He read it again. Then again. Until it didn't feel like philosophy anymore. It felt like oxygen. He didn't need to fix the world. He needed to fix how he saw the world. Each day, he began to sit still. Not for peace, but for understanding. To observe his thoughts, not judge them. To notice the rising wave of anger, and choose not to ride it. To feel anxiety clawing at his chest, and let it pass like clouds over a mountain. He wasn't chasing happiness anymore. He was building resilience. And that was the turning point. Not a grand moment. Not a dramatic scene. Just a quiet, invisible decision. I will not be ruled by what happens to me. I will choose who I become because of it. That is the heart of Stoicism. It doesn't promise that life will be easy. It promises that you will be stronger. Not by denying pain. But by welcoming it as your teacher. Once the silence settled, he realized something. Knowing is not enough. Understanding is not change. Change needs action. And action demands discipline. So he began again. Before sunrise, he would rise. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. He made his bed. He drank water. He wrote his thoughts. No one applauded. No one watched. But every morning, he won a private victory. He trained himself, not like a soldier, but like a craftsman. His habits became bricks. His choices, mortar. And every small decision laid the foundation of something unshakable. His character. When comfort whispered, take a break. He replied, growth lives beyond comfort. When craving shouted, you deserve this. He answered, I deserve self-respect more. Some days were harder than others. There were mornings when the bed felt heavier than the world. But he remembered. Discipline is doing what must be done. Especially when you don't feel like doing it. And slowly, that discipline gave birth to something rare. Clarity. He saw his patterns. He saw his lies. He saw the moments when he'd settle for less than who he wanted to be. But now, he didn't excuse himself. He adjusted himself. Because Stoicism isn't about being rigid. It's about being responsible. And responsibility is the beginning of freedom. Freedom from impulses. Freedom from regret. Freedom from being a prisoner of his old habits. This wasn't punishment. This was power. Not power over others. But over his own reactions, cravings, and choices. He realized something most people never do. The disciplined man is not chained. He is free. Eventually, he reached a place all of us arrive at sooner or later. A fork in the road. No signs. No instructions. Just two choices. One path was smooth, familiar, praised by many. The other, steep, uncertain, and quiet. The easy path said, "No one will notice. Just do what everyone else does." The other path asked, "But what kind of man do you want to be?" He paused. Because this wasn't about success or failure. It was about character. Not what he achieved. But how he achieved it. He remembered what the Stoics taught. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. So he chose the harder way. The one that didn't promise applause. The one that required him to show up fully. Even when no one was watching. It meant saying no to shortcuts. It meant turning down deals that came at the cost of his integrity. It meant keeping promises when it was inconvenient. And standing up, even if it meant standing alone. He started losing things. Opportunities. Comfort. Friends who couldn't understand why he wouldn't just play the game. But he also started gaining something else. Self-respect. Every time he stood for his values. He grew taller on the inside. He could finally look in the mirror and say, "This is the man I chose to be." And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel like he was performing. He felt real. Because character isn't built in crowds. It's forged in quiet decisions. In the battles no one sees. But you never forget. Somewhere along the way, without even noticing, he had stopped chasing. Not chasing success. Not chasing approval. Not even chasing happiness. Instead, he started noticing. The warmth of the morning sun through his window. The smell of tea as it brewed slowly on the stove. The way his breath felt, soft and steady. He began each day not with a task list, but with a question. What am I grateful for today? At first, the answers were small. A good night's sleep. A smile from a stranger. A moment of silence between the noise. But soon, gratitude became his practice. And practice became peace. He realized something beautiful. Life isn't made richer by having more. But by being aware of what's already here. He didn't wait for perfect moments. He made simple moments meaningful. He laughed deeper. He forgave faster. He let go easier. He understood. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. It means recognizing the gift hidden inside everything, even pain. He remembered the storm. The silence. The struggles. But now, he looked back. Not with regret. But with reverence. Because every broken piece had shaped him. Every scar was part of the mosaic. And every step, no matter how small, brought him closer to who he was meant to be. That's the real reward. Not the destination. But the man he became along the way. He wasn't a hero. Not a philosopher. Just a man. Who chose not to run from life. But to walk through it, fully awake. The storms still come. The noise still surrounds. The world still spins wildly. But now, he stands. Not because life is easier. But because he is stronger. Because he finally understood. You cannot always control what life brings. But you can always choose how you respond. And in that choice is your power. Every day is a new chance to respond better. To live deeper. To lead quietly. To love deliberately. To walk your own path. With your own peace. Not perfection. But presence. Not comfort. But character. Not noise. But truth. This is the Stoic life. If this story touched you, share it. Comment below with the Stoic idea that spoke to your heart. And remember, you don't write your life by what happens to you. You write it by how you choose to live it.